Hey guys, it's Nathan here. Figured today I'd talk about the trade that I took. Like I said previously, I don't know if any of you guys have seen my previous videos, but I want to diversify my content. Today's video is going to be more so dedicated about the trade that I took today, why I took it, and kind of also dive into my strategy quite a bit. This strategy is going to be more so for my people that are willing to be patient after the 10 a.m. zone. My old strategy, at least, just to give you a preface, my old strategy, it was dedicated more so to as soon as market opens, we look for entries. But because of the way that sometimes I can get distracted, I can have other things going on, I tend to miss my entry, then I get FOMO, and I just needed something that was more so that worked well with me, and that I was able to rinse and repeat multiple times. In this case, that was a strategy right over here. So without being further ado, let's not waste time and jump straight into this video. So, like I said, previous strategy, we're actually gonna, I want to 1037. Okay, I need to remember that time. Oh no. So back then, the way the strategy was, we marked previous session highs and lows, and then we also waited up until the retailers did their play. In this case, we wait up until this zone gets hit, which it does, and then we wait for that reversal, which in here it happens, but we have to wait up until this gets tested by a fair value gap, which it does. We get a double fair value gap, and then we wait for either of these to get tested. That one gets tested. Boom, your entry would have been right over here. Stop loss would have been below the candle that makes a fair value gap, so right over here. And you could go to wherever you want. This is already a 1 to 3. I think this one goes up to like a 1 to 4 or like 1 to 5. Let's see. Okay, that's not even important. That's not even the strategy. But that was more so the old strategy, just to give you guys like a little breakdown of how we used to trade. But like I said, you would mostly have to wait up until market, opens, market does its little plays and moves. And that was a bit tough for me specifically, like I said, because sometimes I get distracted. Sometimes I have things that I have to do. And I wasn't, in front of the charts to be able to execute the trade. And I'd then, once I saw the trade play out, or once I saw, my entry fly ahead of me and whatnot, fly before my eyes, I would get FOMO and whatnot. So I just needed to do something. I needed to trade something that, one, I was comfortable with, two, that also didn't have so much going on, because at the same time, like I said, I had to mark previous highs and lows, top-down analysis, and then sometimes, because I was thinking more so ahead instead of current, my analysis would sometimes be wrong from it, and it would low-key affect me, because in my head I'm thinking, dude, I said we were going to go for this side. What the hell? Why are we going for the opposite side? And I didn't notice that it was, the side that I wanted it to go to, or that it was going towards, right? That I previously said that, for example, market was, let's say we said market was going to go for the upside. Market doesn't go up till the upside up until after the 10 a.m. zone. So I realized that, oh shoot, it's because, I'm entering way too early. I'm getting swept out by the retailers. But it wasn't a bad strategy. We had like a 73% win rate with the strategy. It was a pretty solid strategy. But it wasn't working out for me, because like I said, I was busy doing other things, trying to trade as well. And we needed like a specific sacred time where we could trade, which was for us after the 10 a.m. zone, because then that's when, we're locked in, we have everything set up. On top of that, the strategy is very simple. I just mark out my 9:30 open zone, 9:45, and 10 a.m. zone, and that's it. From there, we just go to top-down analysis, right? Now, I don't know if I'll make a video on it, but yesterday we took another juicy trade for the downside. Same thing, we were looking at top-down analysis, and we actually made a 1 of 15, which was crazy to me. We were just letting the winner run. So previously, for a lot of you guys, which you already know, market was in a bullish trend, where majority of our trades were at least longs. And up until this point right over here, market starts making lower lows and lower highs instead of higher highs and higher lows. So that's yesterday, you know, which is what led us to go for the downside. Same thing with today, right? Market's most likely in this little reversal pattern. So we're going to go for the downside, which in this case, you know, it does. It lined up also with the 1 hour, right? 1 hour is also saying we're going for the downside. 30-minute is also saying we're going for the downside. So we decided to, you know, okay, we're going to go for the downside. Obviously, this is saying we're going for the upside, but that's because these are fractals. These aren't, you know, the actual, this isn't the bigger picture. You're missing the bigger picture. These are like the little small details. So I think it was at 10:47 is when we entered. So we'll just wait for that. In the meantime, we'll just chatter. So yes, old strategy, it was effective, but not useful for us. I mean, it was very useful. It served its time, but we needed something that would help us, you know, 1, meet our deadline, and 2, be tradable where I'm comfortable and, you know, not getting FOMO because I missed out on the play or missed out on whatever the hell, my entry. And I found it super useful starting to trade this way. As like I said, this may not work for everybody, but it sure as hell works for me. This is, I guess, what you would say, it's my edge. But now that we're dipping into the zone, let's go ahead and begin. So off the bat, well, I think we even missed it because this is our supply zone or our demand zone. No, that's our supply zone. So once we see this get formed, we wait up until market taps in here, which it does right over here. To be quite honest with you, we did not enter there. Forgot to place a order limit. Oh, we're not going for the long. So we go for the lows. So once market already did, you know, all this liquidity sweep and whatnot, or once it's done, you know, doing its play, we go for the downside. Why? Well, going back, why did we go for the downside? Like I said previously, market's already gonna, you know, the daily, the bigger picture, it's showing for the downside. So we're gonna go for the downside. All of this is just retailers' work, right? I just got a brain fart. All of this is just retailers' work, right? If you're looking at like the little trees in a freaking Mona Lisa, you're not going to see the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa is clearly a woman, right? You aren't going to find, you know, reasons why Mona Lisa would be a man. Now, obviously, there's conspiracy theories, but we ain't going to, you know, get too deep into that. So we just wait for the retailers to go ahead and leave the market, right? And that doesn't happen until roughly right over here. Why? Because we're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. And then right over here, as you can see, market starts losing its structure. I also figured it was going to be either going to be, for me, be quite honest with you, it was going to be either this big ass thing right here, or I was going to see if I could at least go for something smaller, which in this case we do. Honestly, you too could have just done it right over here. I just need a double confirmation and just waited for this zone to get tested, right? Because it goes doink, 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 gets tested, entry. Me, I'm a little skittish. I need just a little bit more confirmation, right? Besides just looking at this part, you actually need to slightly bigger. So once I saw this and that get enter, that's how I knew that's my, you know, takeaway for me. So we put our stop loss above this block, our entry, you know, typically it would have been like either right over there or right here, but we forgot to place the order limit. So it was roughly, I want to say like right over here. But yeah, from here, like I said, once we see all this play out, we just go for the downside. We always go for a 1 of 3. You can go lower, of course, if you want, but I like to go for a 1 of 3. In this case, we actually let the trade run. So market's obviously gonna, reverse and whatnot, but we already know that market's gonna go for the downside. So in this case, like I said, we let it run, and we actually get a 1 of 4 right here. That's where we, left. And honestly, you probably could have kept it running too. Yeah, I could have got a 1 of 5 or even more. Oh, wow. A 1 of 6. I missed out. Okay. But yeah, I mean, that was basically the freaking trade. There's not much. I don't know if I explained that even good or not, but this is kind of one of those things that, like, I've just been so used to that, like, if I see a decent either supply or demand zone, I'll take it. In this case, like I said, I'm not really focused too much on fair value gaps or whatnot. I like to see them for sure, because they help me see how, if markets do, being aggressive and whatnot, in which this case it is, and it's most likely about to reverse soon, to at least knock out these orders right over here before it goes back down. But in this case, we took our 1 of 4 gracefully. And yeah, that was a freaking trade. Like I said, I'm hoping that was as descriptive as possible. Realistically, how you trade in this format, for me at least, right? Other people could disagree and say, you're trading wrong. There's no right or wrong when it comes to trading. Realistically, many people can see the freaking markets in different ways, right? What's that? There's like, I forgot what it's called. It's like when there's an image, you can either see like a hot dog or a human. It's kind of one of those things, like with the charts. You can either see a freaking hot dog or a human, and based off of that, you'll either go for the upside or the downside. Me, in the bigger picture, I saw we're still going for the downside, so we're gonna place some down orders. We're just simply gonna wait up until market reverses. Another thing too, right? I guess this can be also a note that you guys can keep for you. Markets, let's try and go somewhere. Where's the pencil? I made a TikTok video about this too, like a long time ago. What the hell's a pencil? I could have sworn there was a pencil. Is it this? No. What happened to the pencils? Is it here? There it is. Okay, cool. So market has multiple ways it'll go, right? The video I previously made, market will either consolidate and then go, like once market opens, it'll go in a general direction, right? Or market will either, once the 9:30 a.m. zone goes, it'll go from up to down. Vice versa. Down to up, right? Sometimes, depending on what pre-market did, it'll just go straight down or straight up. It all depends. And then from there, obviously, consolidate up until, Asian session. These will move. Okay. So yeah, market will either go, up or down after a certain time. It is, up to you to realize when these zones are going to happen or when it will occur. For me, me personally, the way I trade, as I also showed you, move that. Sure, we can remove that. So as I previously showed you, we don't look at the little smaller picture. Yes, although market is going for the upside, although previous session said, hey, we're going still up, by the way, we're going a little down, go a little down, and then we're still going to go up. No, we don't care about this. This is a no. Imagine an X. I drew an X right here. This is a no, right? Like I said, we look at the bigger scale. If the bigger scale is saying, hey, we're going to go down, right? You clearly see market is going on a huge sell-off. Yesterday was a huge sell-off. You clearly see markets making higher lows and higher lows or lower lows and lower highs. You clearly see that we're going to go for the downside. We're not going to try and go for the upside. If you do, it's going to be small little fractals, which in this case, like my old strategy, we would go based off of this little fractal right over here, just off of this right over here, just that, nothing else. Because if you do, right, let's say, for example, if you try to, why is it still, okay, thank you. Because if you do, right, you will eventually get stopped out. If you try and ride this entire thing up until the freaking moon, like up here, right, you're eventually going to get stopped out. To trade in little small time fractals like this, or to trade against a trend, you would have to do it before these zones right over here, realistically, right? Me personally, I'm no longer looking for those little zones, like I said, because one, it's super stressful for me because I have to be by the charts by a certain time, mark out everything by a certain time, confirm the direction, confirm, you know, the what pre-market did and whatnot, confirm, because I would also trade order blocks, and it would be tough because sometimes there would be no good order blocks. So we would also go off of fair value gaps, and sometimes there wouldn't be any really good ones. And it kind of made me force trades. So I changed to a system where I don't have to force trades. They'll about almost happen about every single day. But if I don't, you know, if I don't see my setup, I just won't trade. Why? Because, I mean, one, it's discipline. Two, it's also, you know, if I already got a 1 of 3 for yesterday, a 1 of 4, or a 1 of freaking 15, I can honestly call it a day for the next day if I don't feel like trading or if I don't see like any setups, because I already know that, you know, that market will at least have something available for me the next day. You know, I don't have to freak out that I missed something, some setup, some move or whatnot. If I miss my entry, I miss it and I have to bounce. But other than that, that's about it. Yeah, I mean, that's a freaking trading strategy, right? Just going to go over it with you one more time. So first, very simple. We look at top-down analysis, 4-hour chart. We're going for the downside. We've got to make sure 1-hour chart is also saying the same thing, which in this case it is. Okay, let's look at 30 minutes. Okay, same thing with 30 minutes. Perfect. Now the 1 minute, obviously, you know, because of fractals, it's going to show something else. So now we just have to wait for the downside, or for, you know, downside play to play off. If you're a little scared, you know, let's say, for example, you're not trading, you know, my strategy, but you still want to go for the downside. Honestly, right over here, right? You see this swing low right over here, breaks through it. Market tests this fair value gap right over here. Once it gets tested, it's a long. Enter it. Why is it clicking? I don't like that. Okay, there we go. Or like saving the click that I made, the selection. Okay. And you still would have got a decent bag, like right over there. If you're trading like the typical SMT traders, you still would have made a bag. Another thing as well that I forgot to mention, I always like to check double charts, right? Not just the freaking NASDAQ. I also like looking at, where's she at? The S&P. If the S&P is doing the same thing, right, we're going to go and do the same thing. So if it's going for the downside, we're going to go ahead and go for the downside as well. If we find any decent SMTs, then we'll take the trade as well. So now, although I rarely use SMTs with this trading strategy, because again, our bias is pretty simple. Our trading strategy is pretty simple. We don't want anything too complicated. Something that we're able to repeat over time. And with a lot of people, they tend to, add all these extra things. Me, for example, back then, where sometimes you kind of don't know what's going on and you can get an analysis paralysis. Although, maybe you understand it here and there. Over time, let's say if you're on a hot losing streak, you kind of forget how to trade or how to trade your strategy, and it happens. So you just have to make sure that your trading strategy is repeatable, that you're aware of what you're doing, and you're able to, repeat it through a period of time. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope, you gained some knowledge, some insight from this trade. If you have any video suggestions or would like to see other types of content, let me know by, replying down in the comments. If you have any video suggestions, same thing, comments. Other than that, feel free to like and subscribe if you like this type of content, as I'll be posting, more post-trade reviews and whatnot on how I took it, why I took it. And yeah, that's about it. Anyways, God bless you guys. Jesus loves you. I love you. Y'all have an amazing day. And go out there and go create something.